All right, so here's the plan. I am going to release, write, record, and release a new single every week for the next 2 years. Um, I'm doing this because I genuinely believe it's going to make me a better musician. My name is Dom Coors. I am the frontman of Dom Coors and Company, a blues and southern rock band here in the Austin area. And we play a ton of small club venues, and it's awesome. Love it. Looking to scale up. Um, to try to scale up to larger venues and larger shows. So looking at like festival shows and stuff like that, self promoted shows. Um, Basically, would love to be able to put more money in pockets, but I think the band needs to be at a higher level in order to get to that point. Um, and you're at a higher level when you have the audience that proves you're at a higher level. Um, so the end goal isn't necessarily to build the audience; is to build a you know better musical understanding so that we are better musicians as a band. And I think the rest of it's going to just kind of well, the rest of it will be easier to take care of on its own. As it is right now, like I think we're really kick ass. Like obviously I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe that the band was worth its salt. I genuinely think that we're kick ass. I just saw my foot video. It's a nip slip. Boop. Don't look at my nipples. Anyways, um, okay, so have you guys heard? I don't know if you guys have heard. If you have heard of this, don't judge me because I'm probably going to botch this story. So there's the pottery tale, right? I don't know if it's a tale or a parable or if this is something that actually really genuinely happened in the world. Maybe I should Google it and find out. I'm not going to do that though. I'm just going to fucking go. Um, there was a pottery professor. He split his class in half. He said, Group one, you guys make one piece of pottery this year. Group two, you guys make one piece of pottery every week this year. And I don't know if it was actually every week or if it was every day. I don't know. But the volume difference was like one versus as much as you could possibly do within the time frame. And then at the end of the year, he analyzed which pots were of higher quality. I don't know if, I guess you don't have to make pots in pottery. Which pieces of pottery art were of higher quality from group one or group two? And apparently, group two was almost like unanimously like the highest quality group, and that was because the students were able to work on their craft more. um, I think like for every piece of pottery art you make, you learn lessons, you learn what to do, you learn what not to do, so on and so forth. And I think I honestly think it's going to be the same way for music. I think that kind of parable carries over to many things. Um, and so that's why I'm doing it. I think it'll make us better. Also, it doesn't. It's not a bad thing for the way the music industry is working right now either. Because this is a CEO of Spotify pretty much said if you're not releasing at that frequency level, like you're underperforming. So yeah, um, works both ways, I guess. Anyways, it is hefty though. Like it's hard. Like it's to write a song. Like there's some songwriters that I know that will write maybe like a song a month or a song a quarter. Like they have like 12 or 15 songs that they'll write in a year. And regardless of like quality of the music, I have to be I have to outperform that. Like I have to be able to sit down and write closer to like what like a Nashville um, professional songwriter does, which is they'll do 2 to 3 songs a day, 5 days a week, because they're professionals and that's what they do. And then I also have to take that volume, being able to produce that volume, because when you write a song, um, it's not necessarily good. Like just because you wrote a song doesn't mean it's a good song. Um, doesn't mean you shouldn't write it. Just like everything else, like um, you learn your lesson from writing bad. You learn just as many lessons from writing bad songs as you do from writing good songs. And if you accidentally write a good song, um, you might actually learn less lessons from writing accidentally writing good songs than you would from you know accidentally writing bad songs. Because you write a bad song, you got to give it a little while to rest, and then you come back and you listen to it, and you're like, ooh, that I can't save that. Sometimes you can save it. Sometimes you can go in and change the words, change stuff, and make it better. But anyways, I've got to be able to write the songs. That's 102 songs. I don't have to write all of them, as you know. Like if you've been paying attention, the 3 out of the last 4 singles that we released were cover songs, and that was honestly so that I could sit down and just write a ton of songs. And I have a list of 13 songs here, and most of them are originals. I think there's 2 covers in there. Also, I do have a little bit of help. My brother is an amazing songwriter, and he loves, like, we both love songwriting together, and so that helps. Like that is probably one of the most powerful tools at my disposal, because he and we can't sit down for an hour and not write a great song. Like we average better songs when we write together than when we write alone. um, and yeah, they're amazing. This next month, I'm actually releasing 2 of them, two songs that he and I wrote together. Temptation and uh, Ten Toes. Both of them are probably 2 of my favorite songs that we have written together. Um, yeah, they're great. They're killer songs, and I hope everybody likes it. Anyways, enough promo. Um, then after I songwrite it, then I've got to, learn the song well enough in order to perform it, because you have to put time into the preparation before you come in to perform it. Otherwise, you come in to perform it and you just waste fucking time. Like you just like if you come in and you don't know the song on the instrument, you're like, I'm a good musician. I'll just go in and sit down and play it. Either A, you need to be so good at doing this that you're like totally undeniable. Like I would be okay with like Brett Mason came in to like record a guitar that way. Like if he's like, oh no, this is the first time I'm hearing the song, and he hears it and he's like, okay, this is what I think, and then he plays it. Like I would be okay with that, totally okay, because Brett Mason is the goat when it comes to like studio musician, like session stuff, like the goat. But if you haven't been doing this for decades and you're trying to maximize the time, then you need the maximum amount of preparation. So you spend the maximum amount of time preparing for your recording session. You come in for the recording session and lay down your track, and hopefully I like to schedule about 1 hour per track. I think if you can do 1 track per hour of recording session, you're doing kick ass, because that gives you about 7 to 10 like times through, like times to play it through in order to get it perfectly right. And that's usually around the sweet spot, especially for vocals, because you can't overdo the vocals. If you overdo the vocals, then Um, I don't know if anybody here has ever sang for more than an hour straight, but yeah, if it's not the best. And so like when I have like because we record two songs, I try to batch it all at two at a time because it takes about 8 days to get through the whole process: songwriting, um, production, um, recording, mixing, mastering, distribution, copyright, like all of that. Because you send it to the distributor, but that doesn't mean that it's getting distributed that day. You send it to the distributor and tell them, hey, in 6 weeks, release this song, and then they'll do that. So you can copyright it after you send it to the distributor, and that's fine. As long as you have the copyright before it goes out. Um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, preparation. You have to learn the song. So you write the song. You have to learn the song. You have to learn the parts well enough. And you can't learn the parts well enough until you've done production. So that's a thing. Like you have to understand, when to pump the brakes, when to push on the gas pedal, and that comes from the production side of things. Um, and then you write your parts around the production. So yeah, it's hefty. There's a lot of stuff, um, but I can do it. I know I can do it because I've been doing it now for like 2.5 months. Um, we've only been releasing for 1 month, but I've been on this track trying to get ahead of the schedule for 2.5 months, and we are ahead of schedule. Not as far ahead as I would like to be, but we are ahead of schedule. I am ahead of schedule. Trying to own it all the way because if it fails miserably, it's really my fault. Because when it comes down to it, even though I have a band, um, if something happens and my bass player can't get the track to me, or something happens and my drummer can't get the track to me, um, it's on me. I know how to play bass and I can program drums, so those like I can't use them as an out or an excuse for not being able to get the work done. So uh, I'm owning the whole thing basically. Um, but God bless those guys for helping me out because, God, it would be miserable trying to spend the time like practicing and doing all that for each song. Sliding the drum beats into place on the grid, one drum beat at a time, because I can't actually play drums. Like, kind of, I can play, boom, boom, boom. I can do that. That's about it. But yeah, so that's the goal. That's the plan. If you guys are interested in, I don't know, hanging out and seeing how it goes, then come do that. Do the YouTube things and whatnot. Thanks. Later.